Hello everybody, this is HT Shaves here. I'm back with another video. Very excited to be with you here today. And before I forget, thank you all so much for your support. We have just gone over the 500 subscriber mark. It means a lot to me, and we will be doing a giveaway here maybe in the next week. With regards to that, so be on the lookout for that if that interests you. Today I'm wearing the Declaration Grooming t-shirt. I think he still sells these. This shirt's particularly good because if you want to wear your shaving t-shirts out in public, but you want to be kind of nebulous about what you got going on, this one's good. Funny enough, I wore this quite a bit last summer, and I had a couple people ask me, like, hey, what's that shirt about? And so, because it just says Declaration and it's got the bison on it, doesn't say much else, you can kind of choose your own adventure in terms of, do you really want to fess up that it's like a shaving company, or do you want to say, oh, it's just my friend's brand? That's usually what I would say, just to feign innocence, right? Okay, we've got some very exciting gear, and let's start with the most exciting piece, which is the Blut razor, the Blut razor from Switzerland. This is a beautiful CNC stainless steel razor. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my friend in Switzerland who is entrusting me with this razor for the time being. Even though this is a Swiss-made razor, because of the relative populations of that country and our country, I feel like I see a lot more Americans using this razor than Swiss people. So I do feel kind of, I think it's kind of cool that this actually came from Switzerland for the purposes of this video, basically. Okay, so as I said, stainless steel razor. I believe the head is 303 and the handle's 316. I imagine there's some sort of machining benefit to that. Like maybe it's easier to cut this kind of shape. If it's 303 versus the handle, that's just me speculating. I have no idea. I'm going to disassemble the razor and show you some parts here. So the handle, this part here is grippy, but not like sharp or anything. And I do like these rings on the bottom. And the razor, the logo is on the bottom of the handle. Maybe you can see that there. I think that's quite cool, a nice little touch. And then the coolest part of the razor to me is the fact that on the inside of the top cap, you can see that it's engraved, Blut razor, Swiss made, tells you it was made in 2021. I believe this was maybe the first batch based on the fact that it says BN001. Could be wrong about that. And let's look at the base plate now. This also has an engraving on the bottom. Swiss made Blut razor, and it tells you the blade gap. This is the 0.99 millimeter blade gap. He has maybe 3 other options, and from talking with my friend, it seemed like this one was going to be the best for kind of my preferences in razors. And in my experience, this has been a really, really nice shaver this week, and I've been really happy with it. The only thing that's a little weird to me, and perhaps other people can chime in, is the head. The corners are a little sharp to me. Like if you just run your finger like around maybe that part, and I mean it's the same on that side too. It's just a little surprisingly sharp. I've just never experienced that with any razor really. It's always kind of smoothed out. So maybe there's a reason to it, but if anybody feels the same way or has any comments on that, feel free to chime in. Let's go ahead and load the razor now. This is a Bolzano. Again, just keep using these blades. I really, really like them. Thanks to my friend who sent me a few of them. And I'm just working my way through the little sampler he sent. There's no overhang on this razor head. And then I'm just going to use a nylon washer here. And then let's go ahead and tighten down the handle. The threading feels excellent. It's, obviously Swiss made. I'll just put it simply that way. That's kind of what the blade looks like when it's assembled. So not too much sticking out, to be fair, but then there is a pretty sizable gap down to where the safety bar is. Looking at it, I think it lists it on the site, but it looks like it's either neutral or positive exposure, definitely not negative. So anyway, that's the Blut 0.99 razor. For the soap today, we're going to be using Eufros, you able to see that? Maybe. Vetiver de Haití, which means Haitian vetiver, right? This is a super dank, awesome vetiver scent. The most kind of like earthy and I would guess like authentic Haitian vetiver scent I've ever experienced. Thanks to Frank for sending me this partial tub. Obviously, this isn't the tub that they sell it in. It comes in a aluminum tin with like a white kind of basic label on it. So to be fair, this isn't that much different of packaging. But yeah, just a wonderful, intense kind of, as I say, dank vetiver. If you really like vetiver, you definitely owe it to yourself to try this out from Eufros over there in Spain. You can get their stuff at like past stores here in the US. For the brush today, we're going to use the Black Eagle HT2 Buffalo. I haven't used this one in a while. Saw it sitting on the shelf and I said to myself, you know, I probably should use this. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in some warm water to soak, and then I'll come back in just a moment when I'm about to start the lathering process. Okay, so this is what the HT2 looks like when it's been shaken out. This thing holds a lot of water, so I do try to get out as much of the water as I can. I'm just going to dip the tips a little bit, and then let's go right into loading the soap. This is a very, very dense knot. I kind of forgotten about that. It's 28 millimeters, and it's lofted somewhat high, I would say. But because of all that density, it doesn't feel, you know, floppy at all or anything. So I'm just going to load it like I really, really hate it. One of my shaves this week, I just didn't really get enough soap loaded onto the brush. So now I'm going to try to correct that issue. And I mean, to be fair, I got it right the last time too. But yeah, once again, this Haitian vetiver soap, it is just such a potent scent. It is definitely not for the faint of heart, but if you really do like vetiver, I think you owe it to yourself to try this out. This is, without a doubt, the best and my favorite vetiver scent. And I would say this was actually the one that really kind of pushed me down the vetiver fragrance world, because I didn't know what vetiver was, and then one of my friends sent me a sample of the soap and I used it and I said, oh, that's what vetiver can be. That's a really, you know, lovely scent, and you know, maybe you all can feel the same way that I did about this wonderful soap and wonderful scent. This is a nice tallow formula, I believe, from Eufros in Spain, and it's been around for a while, and frankly I've tried several Spanish artisans in the past couple of years, and for scents, it's hard to beat Eufros in my mind. He just does a really good job picking out the scents. And if you've never tried Eufros before, he's got a lot of different options, you know, even if you don't want to try the vetiver one in particular. Okay, so we've got the soap loaded up. Let's start building our face lather. And I hope everybody's doing well. What's the weather like where you are? Here we had our coldest morning of the year. What was that, yesterday morning? Yeah. When I woke up about 7:30 and I had to drive somewhere, my car alternated between saying it was -1, 0, and 1. Fahrenheit, of course, and I think overnight it dropped down to, I don't know, -5 or something here in the city. So yeah, that was quite a sobering, you know, I didn't even have to walk that far. Like, I think I maybe walked 50 feet to my car yesterday morning. But man, as soon as I walked outside, I could just feel my nose hairs just freeze. And so, yeah, fortunately, we're almost here at the end of January. To be fair, February can be just as brutal here. But the thing I always say about February is that there is the chance of just like a random 60-degree day. Whereas in January, that's basically never possible. So, I mean, you know, we get snow here in May and sometimes June. So it's like, it's not like it's going to be over anytime soon, but there's just nothing better than, you know, like the 60-degree sunny days in February. It just really, it's like the whole city rejoices and says, this is great, thank you. yeah. So I'm going to keep face lighting this in. I'll bring it back in when I'm about to start my first pass with the Blut razor. Okay, this was our first pass result. I'm quite pleased with it, and let's go with the Blut 0.99 gap plate. Okay. So this razor has been generally very easy to use. I think my first shave with it, well, let me back up. I guess the only thing that you could say might be considered difficult about getting started with this is that, at least with this plate, it's definitely one of those things where it's more efficient than it lets on. And so I remember just the first day, maybe the second of shaving with this, I had a couple weepers in weird spots, and I would attribute that to me not realizing how efficient the razor was, and so probably just using too much pressure, and then, you know, that's what happened. So one of my friends here on YouTube, he goes by Okie Shaver. For a time there, we were doing very similar kind of videos. We would always use like a vintage gem or Gillette or something, and then we would use like a modern. So anyway, he posed an interesting question in one of his recent videos, because he is normally a vintage razor guy, but he's been using modern ones more. And he posed the question of, you know, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, what do you think about vintage versus modern? What are the benefits? And of course, I'd like to pose this question to you all as well. In my mind, there are two big differences. Sort of picked a bad time to start that sentence and then started to shave my lip. So number one, I didn't finish the sentence. There are two big things to consider about modern versus vintage. Number one, I think to find a vintage razor that is equally as efficient as this one, meaning it cuts off as much hair, like per pass or whatever, you would have to level up the blade feel and level up the aggression, right? So I think the modern razors do have that advantage of, if you want something that feels smooth but is actually more efficient than it lets on, I think in general the modern ones are better at that, which is probably because of, you know, the way that they machine these days. Now, does that really matter to me about how efficient a razor is? Probably not as much as somebody who's got, you know, a really coarse beard, for lack of a better description. However, I will say, especially in the last couple of weeks, I have appreciated using more efficient razors like this one and the Feather DX. Maybe some of you can figure out why, but there is a difference sometimes in how long these razors leave you feeling smooth compared to a vintage one. I think in the shave itself, I can get equally as close with this razor as like a, I don't know, like a vintage Tech or something, but there is a difference to me in how long I can stay smooth after that, and that has been more relevant to me in the past couple weeks. Maybe the other side would be good. And then the other thing is the construction. Is this constructed better than a Tech? I think you could objectively say yes. But again, does that matter? Is there anything wrong with this, with the collection of Techs I have that have stood the test of time? No, but this one probably will fail later than that one would, you know? But again, does that really matter? I'm not sure. So leave me your comments on that. Okay, that was my first pass. I'm going to rinse and come back for pass number 2 in just a moment. Here's what the lather started to look like on the brush. Looks fantastic. Here we go for pass number 2. Okay, here we go. We're going to do our second pass across the grain mostly with the Blut. Forgot to mention that I am dealing with 2 days growth as usual. Yeah, I just feel very fortunate to be borrowing this razor this week. Yeah. Another thing that somebody mentioned to me this week, maybe it was last week, we were talking about watching shaving videos, and I think we both kind of agreed that maybe in the beginning of our watching careers, we would go for people who had the most sort of instructional, educational kind of benefits. And we kind of agreed that nowadays it's more about the conversation that the person has. It's like, I mean, I don't mean to sound arrogant or whatever, but it's like, I don't need to watch a video to learn about the history of the Gillette tech, right? I think I got that covered. So then what does it really become about? Well, you're really just watching the person, and, you know, some people talk about more non-shaving personal stuff than others. But I found that the people that I watch are not necessarily talking about actually shaving that much in their videos. Like, certainly less than me, which wouldn't take much because I'm pretty kind of analytical with the way I do this. But not everybody else has to be that way, and I think that's lovely. So that's definitely something I've tried to incorporate more into my channel in the past, I don't know, 6 months or something. As I do try to talk to y'all more and ask questions and tell you stuff about what's going on with me. And, you know, I think that takes time for most of us who just start a channel like this. I've always been fine in front of a camera or in front of audiences or, you know, crowds, whatever. But definitely took me some time, like, I don't know, 2 years almost of doing this to like really get into a flow with it and feel natural. I think part of it too is, I still suck at shaving, but I really sucked at shaving at the beginning, so I had to be really, really focused the whole time. Okay, that was my second pass. Gonna rinse and come back for our final third pass in just a moment. Third pass with the Black Eagle HT2 and Eufros Vetiver. Okay, here's our final third pass with the Blut. And yeah, this razor is just very easy to use in my estimation. Sort of sad fun fact for you all was that I was supposed to meet the owner of Blut when I was in Switzerland, or sorry, when I was supposed to be in Switzerland last month. But as some of you know, that was when I got COVID, so couldn't exactly fly on a plane while working through the COVID thing. So of course I'm sad that I didn't get to meet the owner, but I'm glad to be using the razor now anyway, and I still have hopes of going back to Switzerland at some point for the first time. It's not like I've been before. Exciting thing going on for me this weekend is a friend in Florida has hired me to play a performance in Orlando on Sunday. So he's flying me out, and that's going to be great. Florida in the winter is just simply the best. It's not even going to be like warm. I think it's just going to be kind of mild there, like maybe 60, which I know the locals will be bundled up. But again, after driving around and starting the car in that 0-degree weather yesterday, 60 is going to be great. So, you know, I'm always grateful and humbled when people, you know, want to hire me to come play for them and they'll fly me out and whatever. But this is like especially exciting just because my last kind of trip got canceled, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this one. And it seems likely, if not certain, that I will get to meet a couple shavers while I'm there. You might be surprised to learn that my schedule is not very busy this weekend. I really just have to play this like 1-hour gig, and then that's it. And the rest of the time I get to just go crazy. There's a surprising number of hobby shavers in the northern Florida area, so definitely look forward to meeting a couple of y'all if you're watching. Okay, let's feel around, see how we did. So if I could compare this razor to the efficiency of something else, what would it be? Maybe like a carved D plate, or maybe a better way to say it is because I've used the Game Changer 84 more recently. This is like a slightly more efficient Game Changer 84. That's all I can say. Okay, I'm going to do my final rinse and then come back and talk to you over post-shave. Just a second. Okay, we're back after doing my final cold water rinse, and man, that always feels just terrific in this time of year, even though it's, you know, cold inside, outside. Just the really cold tap water, it's very nice. Okay, for post-shave today, we're going to be pairing it with sort of a lighter take on vetiver compared to the Haitian vetiver soap. This is La Petite Prairie from Chatillon Lux. This was released, wow, that was like a year and a half ago. It was summer 2020, I remember. And yeah, this is like rhubarb, vetiver, some like kind of citrus. And so I think this is really more like a spring summer kind of vetiver scent. Whereas the Haitian vetiver is pretty heavy. I don't know if I'd want to wear that like in the middle of summer necessarily. But this is a sweet, very pleasant scent. And yeah, it's too bad that these Chatillon Lux aftershaves aren't being made anymore, but you can still get them from Declaration Grooming for the scents that they collaborate on. But I've always thought this was a really nice splash formula. You don't need too much of it. It's got alcohol, chamomile, calendula, witch hazel, and then a little bit of menthol, which is nice. It's not an overwhelming amount, so I can appreciate that. Right, let's do a final rundown of the products. So we used Eufros Vetiver de Haití, Haitian vetiver, right? Really, really nice scent. I would recommend that you all try it out. I think it's a really nice take on vetiver and definitely my favorite. We used the Black Eagle HT2 Buffalo. Again, very dense, luxurious knot. Just took me a couple days this week to get used to, you know, using it again, because it's just, there's a lot to work with there. And then the Blut Rasur 0.99 gap with the Bolzano blade. I think it's going to be the last use on that Bolzano. I've been really happy with those blades. They're so polarizing. I was surprised that I liked them as much as I did. So anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your support again and helping us reach 500 subscribers. I'll be doing a giveaway soon about that. And yeah, I think that's going to be all. So for now, this has been HT Shaves. Take care. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye.